Okay, so we're just gonna do everything then.
Yep.
Why even bother like writing numbers on the board? That's okay, we have a whole extended period. We should be able to finish. Okay, where did we leave off yesterday?
Number 5.
We finished number 5. I know one class we did number 5. Was this the class? What? We didn't finish it? You did, right? I set it up for you and you just solved it, right? Once you get to the stage where there's 2 equations, 2 variables, you just solve it. So then we're on number 6 then. I don't even understand what's up there. So what the heck is that set notation thing? That doesn't even make sense. Okay, number 6, I already told you this problem is on the test. I already told you this. When you have a line tangent to a parabola. Okay, it's the same problem except different. Okay, you have a line. Do you remember the last problem you did? Here's the parabola. Okay, what was the only difference? What was the first problem? Wasn't it y equal x plus k or something? So the letter that you're solving for was here, but now the variable you're solving for is just there now. It's the same problem. You have to understand how to do the basic problem so that when you see it kicked up a notch, you know what to do. Okay, how did we do this problem? The line is tangent to the parabola, which means they will intersect at how many points? 1 point. There's only going to be 1 point of intersection. Okay, so how do you find where 2 graphs intersect? Don't ever say set them equal to each other. That's like saying FOIL.
I'm sorry.
It's called substitution. And since y is equal to this, you can substitute it there. And what kind of equation is this? Quadratic. What a surprise. That's what we're studying. How do you solve quadratic equations? You make one side 0. So bring everything on this side. X squared plus. What happens when you bring this on this side? You'll get 1 minus m times x plus 1. Can everybody do that? When you bring this on this side, you're going to have x minus mx, but then you factor out the x. See, you have to put it in this form. Or was that the hard part? Anyway, this is a quadratic equation. What tells you how many solutions a quadratic equation has? That thing.
Discriminant.
The discriminant, which is, you don't get any points for that. You gotta know what to do. B squared minus 4ac has to equal 0 because there's only one solution. There's only 1 point of intersection. So the discriminant, you guys understand that? That's the whole concept of this thing. In order for a quadratic equation to have one solution, in other words, a double root, the discriminant must be equal to 0, and then now all you have to do is solve for n. You guys can take it from there, right? And notice that it's another quadratic equation. So we're going to have 2 answers. Okay? Numbers. So that problem's on the test now. Except, of course, it's going to be kicked up a notch, as you will find out. But you have to understand what to do. You just follow the technique, right? Substitution, make one side 0, and then set the discriminant equal to 0. Okay, next one, number 7. A parabolic arch is 100 feet high and 100 feet wide. Find the height of the arch 20 feet from the center. Okay, first thing we need to do is write the equation of this parabola. Where do you want to put the origin? There are 4 places that kind of make sense here. Where do you want to put the origin? Here, A, B, C, or D. Those would be the 4 most common. It doesn't matter, just pick one and do it. What would you guys do? That doesn't surprise me. B, wouldn't B be the easiest? It doesn't matter though, it doesn't matter. Just pick one and go with it. Therefore, the vertex is 0, 100 because it's 100 feet high. And it's 100 feet wide, therefore, what are the coordinates of this point here? 50, comma 0, right? Because it's 100 feet wide. Can I write the equation of this parabola? Yes, I know the vertex, I know another point. That's like number 1 on the quiz, right? So use vertex form. Y equal A, x minus 0 squared plus 100. I'll just put the plus 0, just so you guys know what's going on. And how do I figure out what A is? You plug in a point. Here's a point. So plug in 50 for x and 0 for y. So what do we got? 0 equals what? 2500 A. Did you just say A 2500? Is it acceptable to go x3? You put the coefficient in the front, x3. We laughed at the dormitory. Plus 100. 2500 A equal negative 100. A equal negative 1 over 25. Now, does that make sense? It should be negative because it's opening down. See, when you get that answer, you gotta ask yourself, it makes sense? Because some of you get answers that don't even make sense. So therefore, the equation of this parabola is y equal negative 1 over 25, x minus 0 squared plus 100. Now, once we write the equation, this is like the same thing as that baseball problem. It's the same concept. Answer the question. How high is the arch 20 feet from the center? In other words, here's the center. If I walk 20 feet this way, how high is the arch going to be? In other words, find the coordinates of that point. What's the x-coordinate of this point? 20. And if you know the x-coordinate, how do you find the y-coordinate? You just plug it into the equation. So just plug in 20 for x there, and I think you can figure out what y is without the calculator. No calculator, you know, on the test. All the calculator problems we have during the chapter, it will be during the quiz. Anyway, sometimes I give this problem on a test, except I'll say like you had 100 feet high, 100 feet wide. I'll just change it. I'll just say A feet high and B feet wide. How high is the arch? C feet from the center. Would you be able to do it? What do you mean no? If you can do it here, well, if the parabola is A feet high, then instead of 100, what is it going to be? And then if it's B feet wide, instead of 50, you can put B over 2. You do exactly the same thing. How high is the arch C feet from the center? Then you plug in C over there, right? Why is that going to scare you? You just do exactly the same thing. Because a letter is scary. Is that it?
Yeah, variables unknown.
Yeah, but okay, number 8. Did somebody write number 8 on the board? Go to your room. This is the same problem. Okay, let's do it. You have 3 points, negative 1, 1. 1, 13. This is the... Okay, I'm telling you right now, this is on the test. This is one of the problems on the test. You're going to prove to me that you do it. If you have 3 points and we don't know any of the points as the vertex, how do I write the equation? What equation do I plug it into? This one right here. Ax squared. But you've done it so many times. Come on, man. Okay, plug in this first point. A minus B plus C equal 1. Second point. A plus B plus C equal 13. And plug in that. Or A plus 2B plus C equal 25. Solve. Just solve these equations.
Mr. Parker, what problem I had in each example? The one on the
Oh, that's
left.
because mine, I don't have to change.
Okay.
Come on, you guys can make the... So what is this actually? Number 7. You guys cannot subtract 1. Is that it? You're telling me? So this is 6 and this is 5. Okay, now look. If you just do the same thing every single problem, nobody will get hurt. Okay, go. This minus this. This minus this. This minus this.
Oh, 2B.
What? 2b equal 12. Look, we got it already. B is 6 already. Just for doing that. And then you go this minus this. This minus this. 3a plus b equal 12. But we already know b is 6. So if you plug in 6 here, that is 3a equals 6, which means a is 2. Once you get a and b, plug it back into this one. So if I plug in 2 there and 6 there, 2 minus 6 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus what equal 1? See, it's 5, right? Did I do that correctly? Yes. The equation of the parabola is y equal 2x squared plus 6x plus 5. Now we're going to answer the question though. The question says, find the minimum value. That means we have a parabola opening up. We have to find the minimum value. Now every year, this is what students do, every single year. They go, oh, Mr. Park, that's so easy. Negative b over 2a is, maybe that's not that easy. Negative 3/2, box that, that's the answer. Minus 2, you just got minus 2. That's not the minimum value, that's just the x coordinate of the vertex. The function value is the y coordinate. You have to tell me the y, right? You guys know that, right? The function value is the y coordinate. So how do you get the y coordinate? Yeah, so you take negative 3/2 and plug it in there. I think you can do that, right? How about just look at the bottom? That's shameless. Oh boy. See, what this is telling me is your algebra skills are not there yet. That means you're not doing your homework enough. You guys copying off the board. You gotta do your homework. Okay, number 8. Are we just, let's just do them all. Forget the board already. Okay, write a quadratic equation whose roots are this. Now, remember we did a problem like this? There are 3 methods of doing it. Do the quadratic formula backwards. Do the sum of the roots is negative b over a and the product of the roots is c over a. Or the math team secret way. Which way is the easiest? Math team secret. See how a lot of the problems are just repeated? Okay, what is the math team secret? I forget. Isolate the radical. Multiply both sides by 4. Subtract the 1. Isolate the radical. Square both sides. 16x squared minus 8x plus 1 is equal to 5. 16x squared minus 8x, subtract that, minus 4 equals 0. Reduce it. 4x squared minus 2x minus 1 equals 0. Finished. That's the math team secret. But you don't have to do it that way. You can do the sum of the roots, product of the roots, because that always works. Number 10, except it's number 9. Did we or did we not do a problem with, what was the problem we had before? Headphones. Now I changed it to airline tickets, all hell breaks loose. And then I remember one year I had like Pokemon cards or something, and then all hell broke loose again. This is the same problem! This is the same problem, I just changed whatever you're selling. Now normal, okay, what is revenue? How much you sell times the unit cost, right? Normally, how many tickets do you sell? 150, and normally you sell it for $540 a ticket. However, you find out that every time you reduce the price by $2, so what do I put here? Minus 2x, you can sell one more ticket. What's x? There you go, that's it. Thank you for repeating what I said several days ago. What ticket price will maximize revenue? Now, like I said, so again, we gotta. If you were to graph this, it would be a parabola opening down. So there is a place where you get maximum revenue. That's the vertex. What's the fastest way to find the vertex? Well, if you want to multiply it all out and do negative b over 2a, that's perfectly fine. However, I told you a faster way. If it's in factored form, the x-intercepts are easy to figure out. With negative 150 and 270. So the vertex has to occur so halfway in between, which is, you cannot take the average. 60. So that means when x is 60, that's when you're going to make the most amount of money. But then you're going to answer the question, what price are you going to charge? This represents the price. So if x is 60, what is 540 minus 120? So if you charge $420 per ticket, that's when you're going to make the most amount of money. It's the same problem, people. Anyway, you know when you're doing this problem on the practice test, are you going, hey, I did a problem like that. Why don't I look and see what I did before? Or are you going, this is the first time I've seen this problem. I don't know how to do it. That just means you're copying off the board. You'll get 100% on the homework, but then you're going to get 40% on the test, which is not good, because the test is worth 100 points. Okay, finally, linquad 6. Number 1. Find the coordinate. Now, there's lots of ways of doing this problem. How many people use the distance formula? Because it said equidistant. Okay, that's fine. However, if a point is equidistant from the three vertices, yeah, you're finding the circumcenter then. What? Okay, look. What are you talking about, Willis? Negative 2, 3. 5, 2. 6, negative 1. Okay, these things form a triangle, right? Yeah. Anytime you have 3 non-collinear points, there's exactly one circle that goes through that. And isn't the circumcenter going to be equidistant from the 3 vertices? Because it's the radius of the circumscribed circle. And do we know how to find the circumcenter? Yes, it's the intersection of the perpendicular bisectors. And we did that how many times already, right? In fact, you did it on the quiz number 1, although most of you didn't do it. So one method is to just find the circumcenter, or the other way is use the distance formula. What do you mean distance formula? Like if this is the point x, y, these 3 distances got to be equal. So the distance from here to here is what? Too late already. Equals the distance from here to here, the square root of x minus 5 squared plus y minus 2 squared. And that's got to equal to the distance from there to there, which is the square root of x minus 6 squared plus y plus 1 squared. You write that on your paper and give you 1 point. You want the other 7 points? You got to solve it. Is that the problem? No, okay. Okay, since this is on film, I'll do it just for this class. The rest of the classes, you just practice your algebra. Now, before you look, if you have something equals something, you have to understand what that means. What does this mean? This means A equals B, and B equals C, and A equals C. That means they're all equal. You just do any 2 out of 3 of those, and then you can do it. Now, watch what I do. Just watch what I do, so you can learn. I'm going to square both sides. I'm going to multiply out everything. I'm going to cancel some stuff. Watch and learn. 4x minus 6y plus 13 equal. What? Negative 10x minus 4y plus 29 equal. Negative 12x plus 2y plus 37. Do you see what I did? I squared everything, so no more radical, and then I multiplied it out. But then can you see, like, you're going to have x squared and y squared, but there are all the x squareds and y squareds are going to cancel out. If you have an x squared over here and an x squared over there, they can cancel out, right? Wait, can you write it down so I can see? Y squared and y squared cancel. I'm just writing the stuff that didn't cancel. Look, the middle term is 4x, right? The middle term is negative 6y. What is this? 4 and 9 make 13. Okay, you don't have to do this, but I'm just doing this to save time. Okay, now, which 2 you want to set equal to each other? These 2, because they're next to each other? Okay, go, so to do it, bring it over. 14x minus 2y equal 16. Reduced by 2, 7x minus y equal 8. There, you just got another point coming up with that. Okay, now what? Now you do another. Now you have to involve the third one. You want to go first with the third or the second with the third? Second with the third, because they're next to each other. No, it doesn't matter. But most people, if they're next to each other, then less chance of making a mistake, right? 2x minus 6y equal 8. Did I do that correctly? Of course, I'm the teacher. Divide by 2. X minus 3y equal 4. Now you have 2 equations, 2 variables, and you just solve. That's the problem, Mr. Park. Well, you want to do substitution or addition, subtraction? Like you can solve for y in this equation, plug it in there. Or how about solve for x in this equation and plug it in here? Or how about adding them? What do you want to do? Give me a clue. Solve for y or solve for x?
X, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me. It's all algebra. Okay, solve for x in this equation, plug it in there. So 7 times 3y plus 4 minus y equal 8. 21y plus 28 minus y equal 8. 20y equal negative 20. Y equal negative 1. Pretty nice. Now, those of you coming up with ghastly answers like y is negative 67 over 5,286, that's probably not the correct answer. I like to make my answers come out to integers. And once you get y, how do you figure out x? Plug it back in here. So if y is negative 1, x is 1. So therefore, this point is 1, negative 1. There you go. Or you can do the circumcenter. How many people did circumcenter? That's it? The rest of you did this. Or the rest are copying it down now. Lee, looking guilty over there. Scribbling furiously, looking guilty. It's up, and I don't care. I don't care about you do your homework however you want. If the copying is the best technique, then fine. But then you can feel the pain on the test. You're gonna feel it. Because you're only gonna have 5 minutes per problem. If you're sitting there like, oh, I don't know how to do this problem. It's gonna be just like the homework, except kicked up a notch. You do it the same way, except it's gonna be kicked up. Well, you'll find out what that is. We're just doing them all. 2. Fine. Did we or did we not do this problem before? See, like, yeah, I did this problem before. Let me look at the previous homework, but that's not happening. That's okay. No. Silence. A 1. Just let me do these problems. 25, 8. B 25, 8. C 5, negative 2. Shh. Okay, so we got the triangle. It says, find the length of the altitude from C. In fact, this is the 3rd time we're doing this problem, I think. Isn't that the distance between this point and this line? I'm telling you, you're going to be using that formula at least 1 time in this test. Okay, so I have a point. I have to write the equation of this line. Now, I don't care how you do it. Math team secret, point slope, I don't care, as long as you do it correctly. So first you got to find the slope, which is 7/24. And those of you who've been doing your homework, what are you thinking already?
7/24, 25.
Exactly, 7/24, 25. What? Okay, what do you want me to do? How do you write the equation of this line? You want to do math team secret or point slope? What? You tell me. Do it the way you're going to do it on the test. Math team secret. Okay, here's the math team secret. 7x minus 24y, because the slope is negative a over b, and then you plug in a point. If I plug, no, that one is crazy. Yeah? Some of you cannot even go 7 times 25, right? Even 24 times 8 might be a problem. So how about plugging in 1, 1? I think that you can do. 7 minus 24 is negative 17. What do I have to do to that to get 0? You add 17. There you go. That's the math team secret. If you can't do that, then just do point slope form. Like, pick this point. Y minus 1 equals 7/24 times x minus 1. Multiply through by 24 to get rid of the fractions, but I remember on the last quiz, and then now just make everything, make one side 0, like this. 0 equals 7x minus 24y plus 17. You get the same answer. I don't care how you do it, you gotta get here. Now, find the distance between this point and this line. Absolute value, 7 times 5 minus 24 times negative 2 plus 17, all over the square root of 7 squared plus negative 24 squared. And that comes out to, what is this, 35 plus 48 plus 17, that's 100! All over 7, 24, 25, answer is 4. See how I like to use Pythagorean triples? So which ones have we done so far? 3, 4, 5, 5, 12, 13, 8, 15, 17, 7, 24, 25. What's going to be what's the next progression for the test? No, but now you said that, I'm going to go 11, 60, 11, 80, 81. No, 11, 60, 61. But now since I told you that, I got to go with the 13, 84, 85. But now since I told you that, I got to go with the 1500, 1200, 13. Or maybe I'll just put one that you hardly ever see, like the 20, 21, 29. But now since I told you that, I got to do another one you hardly see, like the 12, 12, 35, 37. But now since I told you that, I'll go back to 3, 4, 5. Whatever. When you see this problem on the test, you know it's going to be a Pythagorean triple, unless it's not. No, it won't be. Okay, are we doing number 4? This is number 1 on the test. I told you guys. You guys don't even. If a teacher tells you this problem's on the test, what do? Just ignore it. You practice the heck out of it. I looked at it, Mr. Park. I'm reading it now. That's so dumb. No, that's okay. That's okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just worry about it on Thursday when you got 5 minutes to do the problem and it takes you 15 minutes to do this and now you got only 25 minutes to do the other 7. That's when you're going to feel it. Okay, how do you write the equation of Euler's line? It passes through 3 points. What are the 3 points? The centroid, the orthocenter, and the circumcenter. Which is the easiest to find? The centroid. Okay, if you find the centroid, I give you 1 point. So all you gotta do is average the x's. So what is 1 plus 7 plus 4? 12 divided by 3 is 4. 1 plus 3 plus 5 is 9 divided by 3, 3. Here, 1 point for the centroid. You know, every year there's always people, instead of dividing by 3, divide by 2. Then you get 0 points. You find the average of 3 things, you gotta divide by 3. Now, you have to decide. Now you gotta do work, people. Orthocenter or circumcenter? What is easier? What is faster? I told you this. The orthocenter is faster because, yeah, you don't have to compute another point. So which altitude you want to do? From A, from B, or from C?
From A.
Wrong! No, it doesn't matter. C. So, see, this point is given. Like if you did the circumcenter, you would have to compute the midpoint. That's another computation. So that's why orthocenter is better. So we have the point, all we gotta do is figure out the slope, but first we gotta figure out the slope of this, which is 2 over 6, which is 1/3. Therefore, perpendicular to that is gonna be -3. And that's the most common mistake. People forget to put the negative reciprocal slope. So, using this point with that slope, you get y minus 5 equal -3 times x minus 4. Or you wanna use the math team method. Too late, I already did the point slope part. Okay, now you wanna do the one from A or the one from B? Okay, so now you gotta find the slope of this, which is gonna be 2 over -3. So therefore, perpendicular to that will be 3 over 2, and I gotta pass through this point. So y minus 1 equal 3 over 2 times x minus 1. 2 equations, 2 variables, solve it. What do you want to do? Substitution, or you want to change it? Okay, this is what I would do. Well, first of all, I would do the math deep secret, but that's okay. It doesn't deserve. What are you going to do on the test? I'll do it the way you're going to do it. Why would you do that? That's only a demented person would subtract right now. Solve for y in this equation, plug it in here. Solve for y in this, plug it in there. Multiply it all out. What are you going to do? What did you do on the last quiz? Oh, leave it blank. I don't know. Give me something to work with here. How about this? Y equal -3x plus 12 plus 17. How's that? Put it in that form. You like that? Y equal 3/2 x. So that's going to be minus 3/2, but then you got to add 1. Minus half. Is that right? Now, what do you want to do? Substitution. Substitute that there. -3x plus 17 equal 3/2 x minus half. I don't care. I'm not going to even look at your work. I'm just going to see, did you write the correct equations? Did you come up with the correct point? Because we already took algebra 1 already. What would you do now? If I were me, I would multiply through by 2 to get rid of fractions. Because I don't like to deal with fractions, although I notice some of you love fractions, but you don't do them correctly. -6x plus 34 is equal to 3x minus 1. Put all the x's on one side, 9x equal 35. X equal 35 ninths. And please don't make the mistake, because some of you do rush and then you put 9 over 35. Now that I got x, you got to plug it back into one of these to get y. Which one? Pick one and go with it. The first one.
Negative 3x.
Oh, you really want to do that because there's a 17 there. And then you're going to make least common denominator. Which one looks better? Well, I tell you what, if I were me, I would do the second one. But no, you guys want to do the first one, so let's do it. Y equal negative 3. Too late. 35 times. Just pick one and go with it. That goes into that 3 times. Do you guys do that, or do you guys go, oh, that's 105 over 9? I just don't know. Negative 35 thirds, but then you got to make the least common denominator, so there's 51 thirds, so that comes out to 16 thirds. So, the orthocenter is 35 ninths, comma, 16 thirds. Right there, 4 points. I don't care how you do it, that's 4 points. Now, how do I write the equation of Euler's line? Write the line that goes through these 2 points. So first, you gotta find the slope. So y minus y over x minus x. What's the fastest way of simplifying that? Multiply top and bottom by 9. 27 minus 48 over 36 minus 35 is negative 21 over 1, which is negative 21. That's negative 2. And then pick one of these points. Which one looks nicer? I think there's no choice until here. So y minus 3 equal negative 21 times x minus 4. That's the equation. And then whatever form I tell you to put it in, you put it in that form. So if you get this, and the only thing you didn't do is put it in the correct form, you get a minus 1. Probably, I would say the probability is like 90-something percent, and I'm going to ask you to write it in general form. So, multiply it out, negative 21x plus 84, so 21x plus y minus 87 equals 0. That would be the answer. It's just algebra 1, people. It's not even scary. Some of you are just rusty, but that's where doing these problems are. Okay, let's just move on. What time is it? Are we going to even finish in time? If not, you're in trouble. So number 5.
Wait, Mr. Farkey, skip number 3.
Oh gosh. Thanks for telling me now. Number 3. I want to see how many people got it. 2 people, 3, 4. That's it? And what? Did you guys even try it? Or are some of you just reading it for the first time now?
Attempted, but failed.
Okay, here we go. Just for that, the probability that this is on the test just went up to 0.9, baby. I'm just going to give you different coordinates. Okay, now we don't know the coordinates of D. What do you want to call them? X, Y, A, B, what?
X, Y.
Yeah, X, Y, whatever letters you want to pick. Okay, now this is an isosceles trapezoid. We have 2 variables to find, X and Y, so you got to write 2 equations. Now, if this is an isosceles trapezoid, at least write me 1 equation. What do you know? This and this have to be, yeah, parallel, right? Which means their slopes have to be equal. Do I know how to compute slope? You better. How do you compute the slope from here to here? Y minus 0 over x minus 0. And how do you compute the slope from there to there? 2 over 4, which is a half. Right there, you get 1 point. This slope got to equal that slope because it's got to be parallel. Okay, I need another equation. This is an isosceles trapezoid. What can you say about this side and this side? If it's an isosceles trapezoid. They're equal. This distance got to equal that distance. How do I find this distance? You use the distance formula. That distance gotta equal this distance, which is root 5. Is that right? Okay, you get 2 out of 8 points right. You want the other 6 points? Solve it. Okay, I'm not gonna solve this for you. Probably what I would do is, look, if you cross multiply this thing, you get x equals 2y. So just substitute 2y right there, and then square both sides. You're just tricking me into doing it, huh? Is that it? Square both sides, substitute. Look, there's only 1 variable. And look, it's a quadratic equation, we have 2 answers. You guys can take it from there, right?
Yeah.
Multiply it all out, make one side 0, and it's factorable. But see, those of you who are not practicing, oh boy, I think some of you would have trouble on just the factoring part. Yeah, but Mr. Park, you can get 2 answers. I only see 1 on the bottom. How come I only get 1? Get 2 answers. No, you only get 1. How come? You gotta cross out one of them. How come? That's because the 2 answers you can get 1 answer over here, and the other answer is over here. You can get these 2 answers here. Because they satisfy the same thing, right? This is parallel to that, and that's equal to that. But this one has to be crossed out because that one doesn't form an isosceles trapezoid. It forms a parallelogram. Oh boy. Anyway, if you didn't cross it out, you only gonna get -1. 99 is a darn good score. I take the -1. Okay, here we go. Next problem, okay, what kind of equation is this? It's a quadratic equation. For what values of k does this equation have a double root? What tells you if you have a double root or not? A discriminant. And the discriminant has to be to have a double root. That means only one answer. 0. So all you have to do is set the discriminant equal to 0 and the problem's solved. Okay, but that's the hard part. What do you do? You have to put this in quadratic form. Multiply it out. Equal kx plus x. Okay, you gotta make one side 0. Okay, here, this is, so for those of you not keeping up, this is where you might get hurt right here. Here's the x squared term. Okay, now, got 3x terms. If I bring it all together on the left side, what are you gonna get? You're gonna get k minus 1. You guys see that? You're gonna stare at it. Plus 1. Okay, now it's in quadratic form. Now all you have to do is, in order to get a double root, the discriminant must be equal to 0. So a, b, and c. b squared minus 4ac gotta equal 0. What?
K squared?
Where?
On the left side.
It is k squared. I don't know what you guys talking about. So what was the question? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. So the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac gotta equal 0. Solve this. And can you see that this is another quadratic equation? So that's why you're gonna have 2 answers. Okay, you guys take it from there. Okay, number 6. What time does this class end? We got 20 more minutes. Are we gonna even make it? People, if you want to learn math, you have to sit down and do it. That's how you learn math. That's how it is, man. For those of you not sitting down and doing it, oh boy. 2x squared plus 3x minus 4 equals 0. R and S are the roots of this equation. Find the value of 1, okay, first one. 1 over R plus 1 over S. This is like SAT, people. Now, how many of you actually computed the 2 roots using the quadratic formula, and then you take the reciprocal of both of them and add them? How many people did that? And it worked, right? Barbaric, but it worked. Is there a better way?
You can multiply both.
Yeah, no, rewrite this. Just like SAT, when you see an algebraic expression, write it in a different form, right? Because that's how they write problems,
R
right?
plus S over R.
Yeah, so make a least common denominator, and then you get this. Oh, but Mr. Park, if these are the 2 roots, R plus S, if you add the 2 roots together, you will always get negative b over a. And if you multiply the 2 roots together, you will always get c over a. So the answer is just 3/4. Woo! Beautiful. Oh, so Mr. Park, I should know that. Duh! Guarantee you're going to use that on at least one of the problems. The sum of the roots is always negative b over a. The product of the roots is always c over a. Always. Okay, that was the appetizer, and now for this. Okay, what's another, now if you want to, you can find the two roots separately, square each of them and add them up. It doesn't take that long, maybe 1 minute, right? But you can do this problem in like 30 seconds. What's another way of writing this? Did anybody do it? That way?
Oh, I did like r plus s squared
Yeah,
minus
exactly.
2.
Anybody else did it that way? Or you find the roots and just square it. Okay, look. Isn't this the same thing as r plus s squared minus 2rs? Stare at it for a while. Because if you multiply this out, you're going to get r squared plus 2rs plus s squared. So if you subtract 2rs, they cancel out, and all you have left is r squared plus s squared. Okay, now if you don't notice this, then you just got to do it the barbaric way. Compute the two roots using quadratic formula, square each one, and then add them. It doesn't take that long. Hey, do we know what r plus s is? Yes, negative b over a. Do I know what r times s is? Yes, c over a, finished. And that's the end of the problem. Except for the simple part. Okay, we don't like that one. Number 7 is just workout algebra. Okay, I need some, I guess I'm doing it then, yeah? So root 2x minus 1, that's okay, we have to get it, we gotta get it on video. The other classes, gonna make them suffer. Okay, now, what do you, remember I told you the program, we had 2 radicals in our previous homework, now we got 3 on the test, what do you think? You can probably guess. So what do? Put 2 on one side and 1 on the other? Should I bring them all on one side? What should I do?
Both sides.
Yeah, just square both sides now. 2 on one side, 1 on the other. And if you have 4, then you go 2 and 2. If you have 5, then I wouldn't do that, would I? I don't want to disappoint you. Okay, square both sides. So you get a squared plus 2ab. I'm going to save some time here. 6x plus 2 minus x minus 1. Did I do that correctly? Plus b squared is equal to that squared. Now I am squaring both sides, so that means I got to check my answer now. Okay, so I still have a radical. What do I do? You isolate it. Equal. Put it all on that side, and you get correct. But then the 1 cancel out, so you get plus 4. Make the number smaller, divide by 2. It pays to reduce, people, because when you square both sides and the numbers get big. So if you can reduce it, reduce it. Square both sides again. Equal 4x squared plus 8x plus 4. And what a surprise, it's a quadratic equation. Wow. 2x squared minus 9x minus 5 equals 0. And hopefully this factors, come on, if I made you do all this work, you think I'm going to make you use the quadratic formula? I don't want to disappoint you then. 2x and x, 5 and 1, minus and plus, x equal negative half or 5. Box that, that's the answer. No, you gotta check your answer. Anytime you square both sides, you gotta check your answer. So take both of these, plug it back into the original, and see if it works. Not do this. Look at the answer on the bottom. I only see 5 there, so must be I gotta cross out this one. You know you guys are doing that now. But not gonna have answers on the test. And sometimes you gotta cross out both of them. But sometimes you leave both of them. You don't know until you plug it back in. I can make a problem, I can make it whatever. I can make it come out to whatever I want. You have to check your answer. Okay, see, that's just algebra 1, people. There's nothing exotic or even erotic about that. It's just algebra 1. Number 9. Okay, this problem is on the test right here. There's something like it. Right here on the test. It's on the test. 2x squared minus 6x plus k equals 0. Okay? One root is 2 more than the other. What is the value of k? Yeah, but Mr. Park, I don't know anything about the roots. Yes, you do. One is 2 more than the other. So how do you label them? If I label one of the roots r, what's the other one? R plus 2. Could I put r minus 2? Yeah, that would have worked too, but most people like plus than minus, yeah. Okay, now these are the two roots. Maybe I'll give you 1 point for that even. Okay, what's an equation I can write down? If I add these two roots together, you will always get negative b over a, which is 3. Oh, so we really got to know that, Mr. Park. Yes! I told you that. You got to know that. And if I multiply the two roots together, you will get c over a, which is k over 2. So I give you 2 more points, 1 more for each equation. And then look, 2 equations, 2 variables, and solve it. In fact, come on, it's not really like 2 equations, 2 variables, because look, you can actually solve for r in this equation. So this equation here, 2r equal 1, r equal half. Don't worry, it's not going to be this easy on the test. And then, once I know r is a half, can I plug it in here and here and figure out what k is? Yeah. Okay, believe me, it's the same concept, except when you get to this step, it's really going to be 2 equations, 2 variables. You know what I mean? You're going to have to like solve for 1 variable in 1 equation and plug it into the other. This problem is on the test. Okay, next, number 10. Oh, except this is not number 9, this is number 8, yeah? Yeah, because I took out a problem. So this is actually number 9. Are you joking me?
We've had this before.
Silence! So you're telling me we could do square root of 1 plus the square root of 1 plus the square root of 1 forever for homework, but I change it to 2 now, all hell breaks loose. It's that you do the same thing. I don't know what this number is called, but I'm going to call it, I don't know what this number is, I'm going to call it, what did we do in the last one? X. What is x? The square root of 2 plus the square root of 2 plus the square root of 2 forever. So what's that right there? That's x, because it's the square root of 2 plus the square root of 2 plus the square root of 2 forever. So then this is the square root of 2 plus x equals x. Square both sides. This is the exact same thing we did before, except that was a 1. It makes all the difference in the world, Mr. Park. Minus x minus 2. No, but you know what? This one is actually easier because this one you can factor. The one we did for homework, you have to use quadratic formula. Oh, so get 2 answers, Mr. Park. X equal 2 or negative 1. Box that, that's the answer. No, you're going to have to cross out 1. If you don't cross out 1, it's automatic minus 2. You cross out the wrong one, there's minus 3. No, what did you say last time? Just cross out the negative 1.
No.
No, you did. I remember. I got it on video. You don't just cross out the negative 1. What did I tell you? What is the square root of 2? About 1.4? Okay, let's be more accurate. 1.414. And then you add stuff to it. So the answer got to be bigger than 1.4. Which of these answers is bigger than 1.4? I think that one's on. You crossed it out. See, Mr. Park, cross out the negative 1. Okay, no. I know how to thwart. I can thwart anything. Believe me. I can make both answers come out positive. Which one you can pick? Or better yet, put minus signs in here. Woohoo! I know, I can do anything. Believe me. Are you challenging me?
No.
I'm challenging.
It's just negative 1.
Okay, so this problem, I would say the probability is like 0.9, it's on the test. But of course, it's going to be picked up a notch. But you have to see, you have to understand the basic concept of it first. You guys get it?